Hey everyone, this is Rachel, and it's another episode of Lift and Sketch with Christy and Rachel, my series with Christy Harriman. Now, today we are using the sketch that was just before I started talking, and that is by Jenny Evans from Boys Rule Scrapbook Kits. I have no idea if that's a current scrapbook kit or not. This is one that Christy found, so I'm going to go ahead and get started with it. I have 3 photos, just like in the sketch. Forgetting the word sketch. That's awesome. So these are some older photos of kindergarten, actually. My nephew is now a junior in high school, so we're going back a bit, but these are ones I never actually scrapbooked back when I started scrapbooking. So I wanted to get them in the books. I have pulled some Elle Studio Family Fun, less to do with the subject of the line, more to do with the colors. I thought they went reasonably well. So I'm going to go ahead and get you put on fast forward and get started with this layout. I've pulled some things to go with that. I do have a couple of things from that line, but I didn't have a ton that I picked to go with it. So I did just pull some other things. Some are Elle Studio from other lines, but they have the same colors. Some are from Freckled Fawn, 7 paper, and that's all I've got going right now. I'm going to, as I said before, get you put on fast forward and get this thing. Okay, so I'm going to get started. I have a white piece of cardstock that I'm using as my base because in this sketch it's basically a band across the upper third of the layout with pattern paper, and then the rest is a lot of open space, which is kind of nice because I was able to use a lot of bright colors without it being overpowering. So I have these acetate doilies from Freckled Fawn. They came in a kit I bought when they were having a huge clearance sale. So I've been wanting to play with them. I actually played with them here, and then I did a layout after I did this one, and I used them again. But they're not going anywhere near each other in my album, so it won't be like, oh, she really liked these acetate doilies. So I want to use this chevron piece, but I am loath to go ahead and chop up that bicolored blue paper yet. I still haven't decided whether I really want to use that or not. So instead what I'm going to do is I'm going to chop a chunk of this plus sign paper, but I'm just going to leave that branding strip of diagonal multicolor on there, so I still get a hint of that multicolor pattern paper in it without having to sacrifice my other full-size sheet of paper quite yet. I then had chopped that gray triangle piece into 2 and used the backside with that very strong blue to be the rectangular pieces that are in the sketch. And now I'm cutting out this red rimmed label. The journaling in the sketch goes down, just basically drawn onto the pattern paper, onto the cardstock, but my cardstock is textured, so I wanted to have a base for that. So what I'm doing now is I'm getting my paper blocks and my photo blocks all done. Because I have those acetate doilies, I want to get those together so I can take them off the page. My plan is to do some misting, but I don't want to take the chance. I want to do a lot of misting in multiple colors because I've got the multiple color diagonal stripe going on, but I don't want to do that over the acetate because obviously on the acetate the mist won't dry and there's always a big chance that it will smear, and I don't want that to happen. So I'm going to get this piece down, and then I'm going to go ahead and do some misting in 3 different areas. Now, I pulled this first one called Don't Citron Me, and this has never happened before, but there was a big whole goopy mess that came out when I pulled the wand out. And if you've watched my videos before, you know I missed quite a bit. So it was the first time it's ever happened. I did manage to get it off the page before I really dropped too much. But that was Don't Citron Me, and now I'm moving on to Tuscan Sun. I'm going to follow that up with Rose Gold Red, and then I'm going to finish off this portion of the misting with Frost Blue. Those are, let's see, the green is the colorings, the blue and the red are both vibes, and the yellow is a spritz if you have any inclination to go get something from Shimmers and you're looking for those particular colors. Once I go through and do that, I am going to go back and blot them out with some paper, but before I do that, I go ahead and do my journaling. It's very simplistic journaling. It's honestly just him and his friend bouncing around in a bounce house when they were in kindergarten. It was end of school year carnival they held in the parking lot of their school. So it wasn't a huge story, but I really have always liked these photos. They're just, show their joy and happiness of playing around in a bounce house, which I think, is just one of those things as a kid that bouncing up and down is super fun. So I'm going to start to glue these down, realize that block on the right hand side is a little too high, so I pull that down. Now once I get done with this, the layout actually goes by really, really quickly. So while I'm getting this all glued down, I'm just going to remember to mention, go on over and check out Christy's take on this sketch. It will be super fun. I know this is one she picked out, as I mentioned before, so I'm sure she has a great idea for it. Alright, getting back to my layout, I have pulled these Elle Studio puffy stickers. I'm going to go with the plus theme because it's in the paper anyways. So I add 2 each in what I'm calling my embellishment areas, and then I'm going to add the word and phrase stickers. I add a gray one down in the lower right hand side, and then I had 2 aqua blue ones in the upper part of my layout. I really, really wish I could have done a different color on that left-hand side, but none of the other phrases or words really fit except that one, and I needed a shorter one. I would have loved to have a red one, but all the red ones were food themed for some reason. I don't know why. So once I do that, I also add 3 of the puffy sticker dots, and now I'm adding 3 of the houses, and I'm going to use my liquid glue for the gray one because it is opaque. The other 2 houses are very translucent though, so I have a vellum glue, and oh sugar, I don't know who that's by. Hang on if you don't mind. Okay, that is Thermoweb's Vellum Adhesive Runner, and I'm pretty sure you can get that at any of the big box stores. It actually works pretty decently. You have to get really close up in order to be able to see the fact that there is a adhesive on a see-through piece of paper, piece of item. Wow, okay, well that doesn't really make sense, but you know what I mean. I'm going to start off my title with the word fun, and I'm going to be using this Jelly Bean Soup Alpha, and then I'm going to switch off to an Elle Studio Alpha in light gray, and I am going to spell something so completely wrong, it's not even funny. I did notice, like, later on that, wow, that's not even a word, but I don't notice it until after I take the photograph. I honestly have zero clue how I made this mistake, but it's hilarious. I was so concerned with making sure I spelled the word house right and trying to figure out whether I wanted the words bounce house to go next to each other or above and below each other that apparently I did not realize that I made them a rhyming word with bounce house. Alrighty, Rachel, that's not even a word. I did go back afterwards and make the word bounce, I promise. So that is pretty much it. I am going to start to clean up and then remember, oh yes, you wanted to add some dark blue. So I'm going to add Don't Rain on My Parade in 3 of the areas where I have embellishments, and then I'm going to go back and just dab it with some paper. I kind of wish I hadn't dabbed it with paper and let it dry instead, but you know, hindsight 2020, all that lovely idioms, and that is what it is. Alright folks, that is it from me today. If you could flick me a thumbs up, that would be super awesome. Don't forget to check out Christy's layout. Have a great day everyone. Bye!